Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us here on Interviews at the Radiance channel. Today I have the great pleasure of interviewing Janna Colaco. How are you today?
I'm terrific. How are you, Krista?
I am wonderful. This whole situation that we have found ourselves in is actually very beneficial. I'm getting a lot of work done. So how is it treating you?
The same. And one thing that I've been working with people, and obviously myself as well, is every consideration, speed bump, worry, new obstacle, to just replace all that with the word opportunity. And it resets you on a gut level to go, okay, well, I hate this thing. Okay, let's reframe. This is an opportunity for me to regroup, to take a pause, to redesign what I'm doing, to recommit to what works and let go of what doesn't.
Mm-hmm. Bring in the new, release the old.
Yeah,
that's exactly what's happening. So tell people what you do, because you're amazing.
Well, thank you. Well, I'm Janna and I'm amazing. No,
just drop the mic. We're done with this.
No, I'm a hypnotherapist. There's all sorts of different specialties, and mine is transformational work. So I'm here to help people get through those obstacles that always hold them back and live the life that they really want, the life of their dreams, so that they can not only go out there and feel the way they always wish they felt, but they can make a difference for other people. Because when we're living in that space of empowerment, it's contagious.
It is. Totally is. I know that firsthand. What drew you to this work initially?
I was drawn to this work way, way, way back in the mid 80s. And I ended up stumbling into a situation in my life where I had about 3 relationships go bad, boom, bitty, boom, bitty, boom. Got dumped again, and got dumped again. And I was just at my wit's end relationship-wise. So I ended up really exploring and looking into that. I did a big box training back then. We used to have all kinds of big seminars where people would get together in the hundreds. You'd have hundreds of people in a room interacting, and it was a good experience for me. It was a very uncomfortable experience at the time, but I was able to really notice that if I don't trust people, it's going to be really hard to create relationship with them. And before that training, I didn't realize I didn't trust people. I thought, if you had asked me, do you trust people? I would have said, of course.
Yeah.
But it would have been just my go-to gut response. It wouldn't have been really noticing that I expected bad results with everyone I went out with. I expected that this probably wasn't going to work out, and I better brace for something terrible that was going to happen. I better worry a lot about whether they were going to cheat on me. I better, and I was living in a paradigm, in an energy field of projecting emotionally, mentally, that things weren't going to go well.
Right.
So through that experience, relationship was what got me in the door to do transformational work. It worked so well. And I noticed that after that, other areas of my life were opportunities to break through as well. I realized through that process that I didn't like my job, and I ended up getting up the nerve to quit and do something else. And I was actually kind of unemployed for a really long time. And I had the self-esteem at that point to say, I deserve to have a career I love. I deserve to have a life worth living. And so what ended up happening as a result was I started on a journey of redesigning these underlying assumptions about myself and starting to drop them like a hot potato. They didn't need any more analysis. They didn't need any more contemplation. They needed to be dropped. I needed to put my energy someplace else. And when I did that, took some risks, stopped waiting for things to feel comfortable before I move forward.
Oh yeah.
These are things that I didn't realize that was the answer on how to live my life. I thought, well, as soon as I stop feeling scared, then I can start living.
Yeah.
And it was actually the opposite that was true.
Absolutely. When you feel scared and uncomfortable, that's when you go for it.
Yeah.
That's when you know that's my true path. If I'm scared of that or uncomfortable with that, that's what I need to go towards. Yeah, I live my life by that. Very cool. What, besides your work, what inspires you? Who inspires you? Or
there's so many people that inspire me in so many different ways. It's crazy. And the ones that inspire me the most in the moment are the ones that I really should be listening to in the moment. Like right now, I've been listening to Eckhart Tolle almost every day. Just the presence that we don't need to be in our heads at all, that the thing to hold on to and the security is really here. And it's an opportunity to let go of, well, I can be present and enjoy myself as long as my relationship is stable, my health is stable, my money is stable, the market is stable, I know I have a job to go back to. And the truth is, all those things can create a temporary sense of peace and security, but it's not lasting. And when we get into the lasting place, everything shifts. And it shifts metaphysically in addition to shifting just mentally, emotionally.
It does.
So and that's why I love being a hypnotherapist. We work on the gut level, and because the hardest thing for me, I mean, I don't know about everybody else, but I know for me, someone says, well, you should feel secure first and then security will come. And I'm like, yeah, I get that conceptually. So, okay, now I'm going to feel secure.
But then you get safe in your little bubble.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't.
But with the hypnosis, it does. So with the hypnosis, we can get that state of being more ingrained. We can get the habits we're trying to create more ingrained so that they become the default setting. So when something happens that maybe 10 years ago or 2 weeks ago would have derailed us, we get an email or a phone call, or we turn on the news, or it could be a big deal. And these aren't just conceptual things that could go on in the mind. These are actually real life situations that can act a bigger deal.
It is, yeah.
And I'd say that they're not separate. They're one and the same. And how we show up in the face of adversity doesn't mean we stop taking committed action when that's needed. But if our default setting is a presence and we are connected to that presence, it's that same state of presence that even in adversity, some heroes will run into burning buildings and rescue people. And later people say, how did you get the gumption to do that? How did you get the courage to do that? And they said, I just did it. Because presence was there and they were guided to take this action. And they didn't have to be in their head. The right actions show up with presence. And when you can get that hypnotized into people,
I can imagine.
and it makes it easier to reach when the shit hits the fan. And I am the number one poster child for freaking out. There's no one more anxious. There's no one more messed up than me. So if I can make this work, anybody can make this work.
Cool. And that also, when you have that hypnotized into you, that feeling of being present, you can carry that with you, and it can also help you towards your goals, because you're always present and you're always, no matter what's going on. If a family member is sick, yes, let's deal with that. But then it's an easy focus pull back to what your present goal is, correct?
Yes.
Beautiful.
And the goals powerful. It's being about knowing, it's having a deep knowing that goal just is. There's no more questioning, am I good enough for that goal? There's no more worrying about, am I really going to be able to achieve that goal? And there's no more, I can't be happy until that goal comes. And sometimes people will literally deprive themselves of their own happiness because they think it'll motivate them. They'll think, well, when I lose that 25 pounds, then I'll be happy.
Right.
But I better hate myself today, because if I love myself today, if I love myself now, where's my motivation coming from? I'm going to sit down on the couch and just eat nothing but chocolate. So why in the heck would I want to feel good about myself? I better beat myself up to have my goal. Now that's another type of a belief that we would work
Reprogram.
with, because it's a lie. It actually brings about a yo-yo dieting cycle. It makes the process hard. It's sabotage. It's completely counter to who you really are, which is absolutely beautiful and perfect as you are.
Mm-hmm.
So as and people may take, it's easy to say that, for someone to say, okay, I need to lose 100 pounds. But I know, because I've read, and Janna says that I'm beautiful and perfect as I am. And they don't want to take that in because they still want the goal. So it's marrying the two together and realizing when we love ourselves and we're beautiful and perfect as we are, we can still be committed to better health. We can still look forward to better freedom of movement. We love ourselves so much that we want to be able to walk up that big hill or flight of stairs without huffing and puffing. We want to get to be creative again about how we dress, just because it's fun, not because we suck if we don't look a certain way.
Exactly. Yeah. Because it's fun and it's desirable and it lights you up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can tell you're very passionate about this. Is there anything else that you're passionate about that just lights you up?
Wow. Personally, everything that I'm passionate about morphs around a lot. Like, I'm obviously passionate about making a difference in the world and helping people. And one thing I learned 40 years ago was that it doesn't matter how stuck someone is. It doesn't matter how wimpy they think they are or how wimpy we think they are. They are so powerful. And I've seen the befores and the afters and the miracles of the transformation. And so I get very passionate about it, because not only do I usually believe in people more than they believe in themselves, but I'm excited because I can see that they can have a lot better life, and they really don't know that yet. And my ego loves to be the one that gets to show them and gets to tell them. My ego loves that, because I've got the tools in the Hypno toolbox to be able to actually get them where they don't even know that it's possible to go.
Yeah.
So that fires me up personally. I'm an artist. I'm passionate about that. I'm a competitive open water swimmer. I'm passionate about that.
That's awesome.
I love to do all kinds of stuff. But as those get taken away, we got our open water swimming season cut short because of being quarantined. I got to use that as an opportunity to start running, which I hate. Right. Okay. Hate is not a strong enough word.
Oh, wow.
That became an opportunity to reframe my relationship with running. And so now I'm in a situation where I love running. I love walking. I love hiking. I've started up a whole new project of finding edible
plants,
birds and flowers and plants, and learning what they are.
Yeah.
And the dog is happy. We're out every day walking. So the passion doesn't have to be stuck in one thing, because when that one thing is temporarily or permanently taken away, if we have that commitment to living life to its absolute fullest, it's going to show up in whatever's right there in front of us.
Yeah.
And it's going to be an opportunity to love something that maybe we didn't used to love, or to get excited or interested in something that used to not interest us. Now, right now is a time where people are rethinking their careers. They're rethinking how they do the careers they have. And at first it seems like, oh no, I was so safe and secure before. What's happening? I don't know what's going to happen. They get to show up as a knowing that they can create whatever it is they want to create.
Yeah. It's like this
And
blank
it's an
slate.
opportunity to step into the power that they wouldn't have had the need to step into if this hadn't have happened.
Totally. Yeah.
So
It's
I'm a
exciting.
closet lover of what's happened. And that's, you know, the hate mail can come. It
I
doesn't mean that
support
I
that
wish
because
suffering on others.
I no, this is a beautiful time period we're in right now.
Yeah.
It's whew, when in the knowable past had we ever had this opportunity? You mean I just got to stay at home and work on myself?
Yeah.
It's like, wow, what a treat. It's yeah, I've grown so much in the past 2 months spiritually. It's just like, and I don't think I would have gotten there if I wasn't solely focused on that. So it's a beautiful blessing. I 100% agree. I'll join you in that closet and say it's a good
Yeah.
thing. Tell me, I would just love to hear about a success story of one of your clients, like something that they didn't think they could do. And once you worked with them and helped them, how they were able to achieve that or even beyond it. Do you have a story like that?
I've got so many stories like that. The hardest part is just picking one. I had a client quite a number of years ago who returned um, from a war situation. He was military,
Mm-hmm.
and there were issues with sleep, and there were issues with PTSD. So that person had been in a very good career before enlisting. Okay,
Okay.
and it was a career that person could have returned into quite easily, but because of the PTSD, it was just a lot of frustration. I mean, you're talking about people who are competent and capable. They're not crazy, but their gut feeling isn't at home. It's still there. They're on high alert. There's nightmares, there's inability to sleep, there's all sorts of flashbacks and things. And we were able to soothe that down in hypnosis. And the alacrity with which that sort of thing can be soothed is unbelievable. And
Yeah.
although I wouldn't say in most cases that something like that is going to be handleable in one session, there's tremendous relief after one session even. So after 2 sessions, I think we continued on, because then there's, okay, now I can sleep through the night. Now what's next? I'm still unemployed. Okay, now let's look at this. And there was a lot of fear. There was a lot of, well, I've been out of the workforce for so long now. So then we worked with that. So one issue led to the next.
There's so many layers that
Yeah.
you're not even aware of. You're just so focused on the surface one. Once the surface one is gone, it's like a whole anthill down there. You're like, oh my goodness.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's fun because some of these issues harken back to childhood. I mean, some people, even though they've had a good child, we get the childhood handled, and then the confidence and the relief start to come. And then it becomes, oh my goodness, I don't even have to go back to that same career that I liked a lot. I'm open to any and all possibilities. And this person ended up doing something completely different. They actually put out a lot of applications in their old career and got hired in their old career in jobs that were even better in their old field, but ended up doing none of those, becoming self-employed and opened a retreat center up in the Redwoods, up in
Oh
Northern
my
California.
goodness. Oh,
And that
wow.
wasn't even on our list of things to do. When that person came to see me, what was on the list of things to do was, I want to be able to sleep through the night and stop screaming.
Yeah.
That was number one. But there wasn't even a belief or a thought process about opening up a retreat center or being hired back in and getting such amazing job offers. But even that was, and I'm going to do this now because I'm confident. So the confidence that can come, people don't always know when they come to see me where it's going to even lead. They just know that right now I'm struggling with this thing and I need to fix this thing. So once we fix that thing, then there's a what's next.
Mm-hmm.
And people will either, I had one person who came in, and her what's next ended up trusting again and getting into a loving, wonderful, committed relationship. And I can think of two women, both in their mid-70s.
Oh,
And a lot of women in their mid-70s say, I'm not good looking enough anymore.
right.
I'm too old. They ended up in relationships after maybe over a decade. One of them almost 2 decades of not even dating, ended up meeting the love of their lives, happier
That's so
than ever.
exciting.
And then, and then instead of talking about their problems, I'm listening to the stories of how much fun they're having and all the trips they're taking and how great their life is.
Living
And
life.
it's really fulfilling. That's why I'm passionate about the work.
So cool. That's
Yeah.
so cool. What are you working on personally in your free time? What's one of your end goals for you personally?
I've got a couple. I'm exploring a lot of my art projects because I love that. And when I'm doing art, it helps me help my clients. And it doesn't seem to correlate, but it just is being in the present moment. It's being in the creative mind. So I'm working
That's
on art.
great advice.
And I'm also, I'm also expanding my practice right now. I'm working with a group to be able to do a lot more with people coaching online,
Oh,
to
neat.
be able to lead bigger trainings. So I'm moving into training and online coaching
Very cool.
for groups. And I'm always going to be seeing clients one-on-one. None of what I'm doing now for the people I'm already seeing or the new ones coming in is going to be different, but there's going to be a lot more possibilities, a lot more opportunities. I've taken this opportunity to move into a bigger office space.
Oh,
And that's a spiritual practice for me. I had a small office, and during this outbreak, a lot of the people in my building left their offices and there were vacancies. And so I committed to a bigger office, which of course means paying more rent, with absolutely no evidence that I could make that work at the lowest point when none of us are seeing people. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I just chose that that's what I was going to do. So I just jumped into that. So it's expecting positive results. I'm going to jump in. I'm going to expect positive results. I'm not going to spend one bit of time worrying about, can I pay my rent? I'm just going to look at that space and go, oh, I want a beautiful couch over there.
Right.
Wouldn't it be fun to have groups? I bet people will want to get together and have little groups of 5, 10 people,
That's right.
even 2 or 3, 15, something like that. Comfortable. We could meet once a week. They could bring friends. And have a little group hypnosis and imagery session at the end. And I'm thinking about the snacks. I'm thinking about what kinds of tea I'm going to serve. Those are the types of empowering thoughts that I'm having.
That's
And
awesome.
that I'm working on. So I've been able to actually move my business forward in those ways while we're kind of on lockdown now.
I'm so excited for you. That's so cool. Let's see here. Describe your ideal client.
Oh my gosh. My ideal client would be someone who's open to possibilities that they might not have thought of before. And although I'm really good at working with people who are closed-minded, my ideal client, we get a lot more done a lot quicker if they can just kind of play along and just be with me for the ride and take the risk of at least thinking about something wonderful. When we were children, we used to think about how great it would be when we could fly, or how wonderful it would be when we were an astronaut or a dancer or whatever it was. We used to think about that, and children are great at being able to just fantasize. As adults, we won't even allow ourselves to think about possibilities if we're not certain we're going to be able to achieve them. Nice. So my ideal client would be someone who's willing to just think about it. I'm not saying we have to jump in and do it, but you deserve to at least be able to think about how much fun it could be if. And so if we can get there, we can handle the considerations and the fears and anything that they've got in the way along the path. They can still
Yes.
have that stuff. But to be willing to try new things and try to think, and can we be willing to let go of some of these beliefs we've held for so long, that those beliefs thought they were helping us, but really they were a stumbling or a roadblock that got between us and what we say that we want to have happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Agreed. All right, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. And how can people reach you?
They can visit my website. It's mechanicsofgrace.com.
Okay.
And they can reach out to me directly, Janna Colaco at mac.com, and that's Janna. And the last name looks like Colaco. It's Colaco at mac.com. Yeah.
Awesome.
I always do their first 30 minutes the first time I see them for free, whether we're over the phone or whether we're in person. And that gives them a chance to choose if this is something that's going to work for them or not. But
Wonderful.
I'm here to listen and to answer any questions that they have.
Perfect. Well, again, thank you so much. I learned some things. This is exciting. So I can't wait to book my next session with you. So thank you.
Thank you, Kristen.